Life often feels like a maze of relationships, friendships, love, family, and work. Some bonds uplift us, while others drain us. Have you ever wondered if the people around you are truly there for you, or just taking advantage of your kindness? I've been there. Questioning the authenticity of relationships feels like standing at a crossroads, unsure which path leads to genuine connections. But here's the truth, you're not alone. Today we'll explore Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that gives us the wisdom to recognize when someone might be using us and the strength to choose better paths. This isn't about cynicism or cutting everyone off. It's about clarity, self-respect, and building relationships that actually nourish your soul. Picture this. You share an achievement you worked hard for, hoping for congratulations. Instead, you hear, "That's it?" Or maybe you reveal a dream, only to be met with belittling words. These remarks aren't harmless. They're tools to keep you small, so others can feel bigger. Stoicism reminds us, we can't control others' words, but we can control our response. Their comments reflect their insecurities, not your worth. Stand firm. Don't let anyone undermine your self-esteem. Surround yourself with people who uplift, not diminish. We've all met people who promise the world but deliver nothing. They talk beautifully but disappear when action is needed. Stoicism teaches us that actions matter more than words. Empty promises are red flags. Trust is built when words and actions align. So, observe patterns. If someone repeatedly fails to show up, it's not about being negative, it's about being discerning. Your energy is precious. Save it for those who act with sincerity. Imagine constantly giving your time, support, care, yet receiving nothing back. That's not generosity, that's imbalance. Stoicism values mutual respect. Relationships thrive when both sides give and receive. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's self-respect. If someone refuses to meet you halfway, let them go. You deserve reciprocity, not exhaustion. Some people chip away at your confidence by mixing criticism with false praise, making you dependent on their validation. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Your peace of mind is your fortress. Recognize manipulation, set firm boundaries, and walk away if necessary." True connections feel like having a personal cheerleader, someone who celebrates your wins and stands by you in losses. But when your joys and struggles are met with silence, that's not support. That's neglect. Stoicism teaches us quality over quantity. Seek relationships rooted in sincerity, not convenience. Real allies don't vanish in storms. Relationships aren't about keeping score, who's richer, smarter, or more successful. But some people turn everything into a contest. The Stoic response? Collaboration, not competition. Celebrate others' victories as your own. True strength lies in lifting each other, not dragging each other down. Fair-weather friends are everywhere. They're around when life is bright but vanish in darkness. Stoicism reminds us, we can't control their loyalty, but we can control our resilience. Build inner strength, so even when others fail, you stand firm. Few wounds hurt like betrayal or being treated as an option, but betrayal is a reflection of their choices, not your worth. Stoicism says, respond with dignity, not revenge. Your self-respect is non-negotiable. Set boundaries. If someone treats you like a convenience, step back. You are not a pawn in their game. You are the lead in your own story. Toxic people often make you feel guilty for saying no. But here's the Stoic truth. Your boundaries are within your control. Their reactions are not. Saying no isn't selfish. It's self-care. Protect your peace of mind like a fortress. Some relationships look shiny on the outside but are empty within. Stoicism teaches us to seek depth, not appearances. Authentic connections go beyond small talk. They nourish your soul, challenge your mind, and make you better. At its heart, Stoicism isn't about cold detachment. It's about clarity, dignity, and courage. Clarity to recognize who truly values you. Dignity to set boundaries against disrespect. Courage to walk away from what doesn't serve you. Remember, you can't control others' behavior, but you can control how you respond, and that's where your power lies. Life is too short for one-sided, draining relationships. Surround yourself with those who see your worth, celebrate your victories, and walk beside you through storms. Stay strong, stay stoic, and never forget, self-respect is the foundation of every meaningful connection. Have you ever wondered why some people remain calm in the face of chaos, why they stand tall when the storms of life shake everyone else, and why their inner world seems unshaken, no matter how turbulent the outside world becomes? The answer lies not in extraordinary powers or supernatural abilities, but in a timeless philosophy that has guided warriors, leaders, thinkers, and ordinary individuals for centuries: Stoicism. Stoicism is not just a set of abstract ideas or lifeless theories buried in the dusty books of history. It is a living, breathing guide to mastering the art of life. It teaches us how to remain unbroken when everything around us is falling apart, how to find peace in the middle of suffering, and how to transform adversity into strength. At its core, Stoicism is not about escaping life's challenges but facing them with courage, discipline, and wisdom. It's about controlling what lies within your power and letting go of everything that doesn't. In this ultimate Stoic guide to life, we will journey together into the world of ancient wisdom and discover how it applies powerfully to our modern lives. We will explore timeless principles, inspiring stories, and practical lessons that can help you reshape your mindset and find a sense of inner strength that cannot be taken away by the world. By the end of this journey, you will not only understand Stoicism, but feel its presence deeply in your own life. The foundation of Stoicism. Stoicism began in ancient Greece, founded by Zeno of Citium in the 3rd century BCE. But it was in Rome where Stoicism truly flourished, embraced by powerful figures such as Seneca the philosopher, Epictetus the freed slave, and Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king. What's remarkable is that Stoicism was not restricted to one social class. From slaves to emperors, from struggling commoners to leaders of nations, Stoicism offered something universal, something human. At the heart of Stoicism is a simple yet transformative principle. We cannot control external events, but we can control our reactions to them. This distinction between what is within our control and what is not is the foundation of Stoic philosophy. If you can live by this truth, your life will never be the same again. Epictetus, who was born a slave and endured unimaginable hardships, summarized this truth in powerful words: some things are in our control and others are not. What are those things we can control? Our thoughts, our actions, our choices, our attitudes. And what are those things we cannot control? The weather, the economy, the behavior of other people, the inevitability of death. By constantly reminding ourselves of this distinction, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. Imagine the relief of no longer being chained to the anger, resentment, and frustration that comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. The Stoic vision of life. Stoicism teaches us to live according to nature, which means living in harmony with reason, virtue, and reality itself. It does not demand that we escape into fantasy or wish for life to be different. Instead, it tells us to accept life as it is, with all its imperfections and challenges, and to make the best of it. For the Stoics, the ultimate goal of life is eudaimonia, often translated as flourishing or living well. It's not about pleasure, fame, or wealth, but about living with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. These 4 virtues form the bedrock of Stoic practice. Wisdom, the ability to see the world clearly and make sound judgments. Courage, the strength to face fear, pain, and difficulty without surrender. Justice, the commitment to fairness, integrity, and the good of others. Self-control, the mastery of desires and impulses, ensuring that we are not slaves to our passions. These virtues are not just lofty ideals, they are practical tools. Wisdom helps you make decisions when life is uncertain. Courage keeps you moving forward when everything seems lost. Justice ensures that you live not just for yourself, but for others, creating harmony in human relationships. And self-control prevents you from being dragged around by fleeting pleasures or destructive habits. The power of perception. One of the greatest lessons the Stoics left us is this: it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Think about that for a moment. The event itself is neutral. It's our interpretation, our story about the event, that creates suffering or peace. A rainy day is just a rainy day, but if you call it ruined, then you suffer. A harsh comment from someone is just words, but if you call it insult, then you are hurt. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled Rome during wars, plagues, and betrayals, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This truth is the shield of the Stoic. By mastering perception, you transform every difficulty into an opportunity. For example, if you lose your job, you can call it the end of everything, or you can call it the beginning of a new path. If someone rejects you, you can call it proof of your worthlessness, or you can call it protection from what was not meant for you. The event is the same, but your perception changes everything. Amor Fati, the love of fate. The Stoics went beyond acceptance. They didn't just say, endure fate. They taught us to love it. The phrase Amor Fati means love of fate. It is the art of embracing life fully, not just tolerating what happens, but actively saying, yes, this too belongs to me. Imagine a mindset where every obstacle becomes fuel, where every hardship becomes a stepping stone. The Stoics believed that life gives us what we need for growth, even if it comes wrapped in pain. When we resist, we suffer. When we embrace, we transform. Epictetus advised, "Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well." This doesn't mean we stop striving for improvement. It means we stop fighting reality. Instead of wasting energy wishing the world were different, we channel our strength into meeting reality with courage and wisdom. The practice of daily reflection. Stoicism is not something you just read about. It is something you practice daily. One of the most powerful Stoic practices is reflection. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what did I do well? Where did I fall short? How can I improve tomorrow? Seneca encouraged this habit, writing that every night he examined his conscience and reviewed his actions. By doing this, he held himself accountable and grew stronger each day. This is not about self-condemnation, but about self-mastery. Every mistake becomes a teacher. Every victory becomes a foundation. The more you reflect, the more you align yourself with wisdom and virtue. The role of adversity. Stoicism teaches us to welcome adversity because it is in struggle that our character is forged. Just as fire tests gold, hardships test our spirit. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is one of the most powerful Stoic truths. Obstacles are not enemies, but opportunities. Every challenge you face is a training ground for your soul. Without resistance, you cannot build strength. Without trials, you cannot grow in courage. Think about it. Muscles grow by resistance. Character grows by adversity. When life is easy, we stagnate. When life is hard, we rise. Living with death in mind. The Stoics were deeply aware of mortality. They practiced Memento Mori, remember you must die. Far from being morbid, this practice gave them clarity and urgency. When you remember that life is short, you stop wasting time on trivial things. You focus on what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. When we keep death in mind, we live more fully. We forgive more quickly, love more deeply, and waste less time. Every sunrise becomes a gift. Every breath becomes precious. The discipline of desire. The Stoics taught that one of the greatest causes of suffering is unrestrained desire. We want things we cannot have. We crave pleasures that fade away, and we pursue illusions that never bring lasting peace. The discipline of desire means learning to align our wants with reality. Epictetus said, "Freedom is not achieved by satisfying desires, but by eliminating them." When we chase after everything the world dangles before us, we become slaves to our cravings. But when we discipline our desires, we gain freedom. This doesn't mean rejecting joy or beauty. It means not becoming dependent on them. Enjoy the meal, but don't let your happiness depend on it. Appreciate wealth if it comes, but don't tie your identity to it. Love deeply, but do not cling in desperation. The less you need, the freer you are. Imagine if you could walk through life unshaken by loss, untempted by corruption, and untouched by envy. That is the power of mastering desire. The discipline of action. The Stoics also emphasized the discipline of action, how we conduct ourselves in the world. Life is not just about thinking, it is about doing. And what should guide our actions? The virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. Marcus Aurelius, despite being emperor, constantly reminded himself to act with integrity. He knew that his power meant nothing if he failed to live according to virtue. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be, he wrote. Be one. The Stoic discipline of action teaches us to fulfill our duties, to contribute to society, to help others, and to make the world better in whatever way we can. Even small acts of kindness matter. Even silent acts of courage matter. Your actions are your legacy. When all is said and done, it is not your possessions or your status that define you. It is what you did and how you lived. The discipline of assent. The third Stoic discipline is assent, the way we respond to impressions, thoughts, and emotions. Every day, countless thoughts rush through our minds. Some are helpful, others destructive. The Stoics taught us not to accept every thought as truth. Instead, we must examine them carefully and choose wisely which ones to allow into our hearts. For example, if you think, I am worthless, that is just a thought, not reality. You can pause, step back, and ask, is this true? Is this useful? If not, you let it go. Epictetus compared the mind to a fortress. If you guard its gates carefully, only truth and wisdom enter. If you leave it unguarded, every enemy thought storms in and destroys your peace. The discipline of assent gives you control over your inner world. You cannot stop thoughts from arising, but you can choose which ones to embrace. Stoic exercises for daily life. The Stoics were not abstract dreamers. They were practical trainers of the soul. They developed exercises to strengthen the mind, just as athletes train the body. Here are some powerful Stoic practices you can begin today. Negative visualization. Imagine losing what you love. This is not to depress you, but to deepen your gratitude. When you imagine life without your home, your health, or your loved ones, you appreciate them more. Voluntary discomfort. Practice going without comfort. Sleep on the floor. Take cold showers. Eat simple meals. By doing this, you train yourself to endure hardship and realize that luxury is not necessary for happiness. View from above. Imagine yourself rising above the earth, seeing humanity as one small family under the stars. This gives perspective, reducing selfishness and expanding compassion. Journaling. Like Marcus Aurelius in his Meditations, write daily reflections. Capture your struggles, victories, and lessons. Over time, this becomes a mirror of your soul's growth. Each exercise sharpens your resilience, disciplines your desires, and expands your wisdom. The Stoic warrior spirit life, to the Stoics, was a battlefield of the soul. They saw every challenge as an opportunity to train their character. They compared themselves to warriors, not because they loved violence, but because they knew life demanded courage. Seneca wrote, "A man is not great if he is not also tough and enduring. To be stoic is to be prepared, to be strong, to meet fate with unflinching resolve." Think of Marcus Aurelius. As emperor, he faced betrayals, plagues, and endless wars. Yet, in the solitude of his tent, he wrote words of peace, wisdom, and humility. Despite being surrounded by power, he reminded himself that he was a servant of nature, not a master of it. That is the warrior spirit of Stoicism. Not arrogance, but strength grounded in humility. When life throws its hardest punches, the Stoic does not collapse. He rises. He absorbs the blow, learns from it, and grows stronger. Stoicism and relationships. Though Stoicism emphasizes inner strength, it does not mean isolation. The Stoics valued human connection deeply. They believed we are all part of one great community, bound by reason and shared humanity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "We are made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids. Justice, one of the 4 Stoic virtues, is about treating others fairly, with respect and compassion. In relationships, Stoicism teaches us to love fully but without possession. We appreciate others as gifts, not as things we own. We recognize that people, like all things, are temporary. This makes our time with them more precious, not less. When others wrong us, Stoicism teaches forgiveness. Epictetus reminded his students that when someone acts unjustly, it is because they do not understand what is good. Just as we would not hate a blind man for stumbling, we should not hate those who stumble morally. This does not mean tolerating abuse or injustice. It means not poisoning our hearts with bitterness. We stand firm, we set boundaries, but we do not let hatred destroy our peace. The Stoic approach to success and failure. In today's world, success is often measured by wealth, fame, and status. But Stoicism redefines success. For the Stoics, true success is living in harmony with virtue. If you act with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control, you are successful, no matter your external circumstances. Failure, then, is not losing money or status. Failure is losing yourself, betraying your values, and allowing external things to corrupt your soul. This redefinition frees us from the endless chase for validation. You may not control whether you win the race, but you control whether you run with honor. You may not control whether others praise you, but you control whether you act with integrity. The Stoic is successful not because he conquers the world, but because he conquers himself. The Stoic path to peace. Ultimately, what does Stoicism offer? Peace. Not the fragile peace that depends on things going well, but the unshakable peace that endures through storms. When you accept what you cannot control, master your desires, act with virtue, and guard your mind, you create a fortress within. The world may rage outside, but inside, you remain calm. This peace is not passive. It is active strength. It allows you to move through life with clarity, courage, and compassion. It allows you to face death without fear and life without despair. Bringing Stoicism into the modern world. In our fast-paced, noisy, and chaotic world, Stoicism is more relevant than ever. Every day we face uncertainty, economic struggles, political turmoil, personal challenges. The Stoics remind us that we cannot control the storm, but we can control how we sail our ship. Social media may flood us with envy, but Stoicism reminds us to focus on our own character. Consumerism may tempt us with endless desires, but Stoicism reminds us that happiness comes from virtue, not possessions. Stress may weigh us down, but Stoicism reminds us that peace is always available within. You do not need to be an emperor like Marcus Aurelius, or a philosopher like Seneca, or a teacher like Epictetus. Stoicism belongs to everyone. It is as useful to the student as it is to the CEO, as powerful for the parent as it is for the soldier. As we bring this guide to a close, let us remember the essence of Stoicism. Control what you can, let go of what you cannot. Live with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. See obstacles as opportunities. Love fate, embrace reality. Reflect daily, grow daily. Remember death, and live fully. The Stoic life is not about escaping challenges, but mastering them. It is about transforming pain into growth, chaos into clarity, and life into a work of art. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Let us not waste our time. Let us live as Stoics, calm, strong, compassionate, unshakable. When the storms of life come, and they always do, you will not be swept away. You will stand firm, grounded in timeless wisdom, unbroken in spirit. That is the ultimate Stoic guide to life.